Welcome. We are so glad you're with us today. We are a bunch of leaders from the CrossRoad Institute who feel so passionately that this little 10-day summer program has a transformative impact on young people's lives. So I have some friends with us today from CrossRoad Institute, and we will each take you through a short slide deck to tell you a little more about the program. So several of us on the call have teens ourselves, and we know how hard it is to raise young people today in every aspect of life, but definitely in terms of raising kids in the church. We know sort of nationally there's just a sort of cultural crisis around personal and shared sense of meaning. What are we doing in this world today? How do we find meaning and value in the world? COVID made this harder. During COVID, there was a collapse of dependable teenage milestones of growth. A lot of things that a lot of teenagers plan to do or imagine themselves doing, or stages of life were just missed out. A lot of that on being in church regularly, as a lot of churches had to shut down due to the crisis. And also the sociability around that. Who are their peers and those typical teen communities that weren't able to form. So we're hearing, and I teach youth ministry at Holy Cross and have been tracking this for a while, but the youth groups that were so much a part of a lot of our growing up have just sort of fallen apart for a number of reasons, COVID being one of them. And that just in general has led to decreased involvement in the church. So we are folks who touch on all of these areas, but then move to, okay, our youth really need to know Christ's love in the church on their own more than ever. And so we're not going to stop on the 60% are leaving the church and just panic about that. We're going to do something about it. So to that end.
Absolutely. It's, focusing on the solution of CrossRoad, because here my daughter went to CrossRoad in 2021, like coming out of everything, which is just crazy to think of where we've been and where we continue to go. And certainly trends in our household, having two teenagers, of what's going on, we knew that CrossRoad was going to be an important intersection, no pun intended of the name here, of where they needed to be going next and taking on the faith as their own. So in essence, if you've never heard of CrossRoad before, it's about providing the ultimate space for those who seek more in that 11th and 12th grade years. So as a 10-day academic summer institute, we're preparing those juniors and seniors to make those big life decisions, because it's not just about college. It's about, what do I want to be? Who do I want to be? Who do I want to surround myself with? And when they're able to connect that with the Orthodox Christian theological and spiritual tradition in a deep and meaningful way, amazing things happen. So first, our curriculum, it's dynamic of everything. It is not, my kids have gone through, the camp of the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese, which has been phenomenal. But the curriculum goes above and beyond of the self-reflection that is there of, who am I? Who is God? Who is my neighbor? And introduces them to all sorts of Orthodox views on vocation, because the staff is different. They are trained in, contemporary youth culture, Orthodox theology, and pedagogical practices. But you know what? In the end, they're just fantastic human beings, and they are there for our youth above and beyond those 10 days, which my daughter came home saying, hey, I have my tribe now. I have my group of people. I'm so excited to be connected, because the experience is that 10 days takes them out of their comfort zone and puts them into a new environment on a college campus, where there's many different kinds of day trips that are very purposely involved, that, force them into different things of their faith, but then also their selves, of what they need to discover. So it's something that is very long lasting, because in the end, as we point out the bottom right-hand slide here, is CrossRoad is an extension of your church's ministry and outreach to Orthodox teenagers as they examine what's next on their life's journey. We would love to be a natural progression as part of every single Orthodox church here in North America, and to be able to say, hey, make sure that's on your path and what you're seeking to have go on next.
Well, the logistics of CrossRoad, we accept current 11th and 12th graders. So the summer after your 11th or 12th grade year, you're eligible to attend CrossRoad. And we currently have 4 sessions now for the first time. Our first 2 sessions are in Boston, Massachusetts, June 9th through 19th, and then June 23rd through July 3rd. And those take place at Hellenic College Holy Cross Greek Orthodox School of Theology. Then session 3 this year is from July 5th through July 15th outside of San Francisco at Dominican University of California. And session 4 this year is back in Chicago, Illinois at North Park University from July 22nd to August 1st. Now, to cover the cost of being at these wonderful locations, the tuition is $900. However, there's a $50 discount for anyone who applies by the early deadline, which is January 18th in 2023. But scholarships are available to anyone who needs one. We've never turned away someone depending on how much they can pay toward the program. So we tell everyone who applies to not let cost be a barrier to applying and seeing what's in store at CrossRoad. The application deadlines for 2023 are January 18th for the priority deadline, and then February 22nd, which is the regular deadline.
And Peggy, can you talk about the application process for a moment? That once they go online with things, what are the kind of different things that an applicant should expect that they're going to need to provide at that moment?
Sure. Currently, our application is done through CampDoc. There's a couple different sections, basically just a general information section, who you are, where do you go to church, things like that. We have our applicants put their session preference down, which location would they prefer to go? Do they have any conflicts for any of the other sessions? Then we actually have all applicants write a short essay, or we now have a video submission option if they prefer to speak on the essay topics, but just to help our team learn a little bit more about where the applicants are coming from in lives, the questions they have about their faith, which helps give CrossRoad kind of an unprecedented amount of foresight going into the program. They're really able to understand a little bit more about each student before they arrive so they can help meet them where they are. And then we also accept transcripts, not so much to see, who has all A's and, where everyone is, but really so we can see what their academic journey has done for them and where they are in school. And then we also have 2 recommendations. So we request that all applicants get a recommendation from a priest and also a recommendation from someone else in their life, maybe a teacher or mentor, someone like that. Of course, one that's probably not a family member. And that's all done through our CampDoc portal this year.
Awesome. Thanks, Peggy, for explaining that. So the results. Was that me again? Oh, no, there you go. Yes, I believe that was me again, right? To talk about the results. All right. All right. So within the result, I'm sorry, Jason, we're getting you off there. So, at the end of the 10-day session, our students, the participants, they're finding a joy and perspective. And certainly as I picked up my daughter she's the writer. She has a journal with her at all times. It took her 5 hours to go through the pages of the journal with us at the end of it. My son is going to be like, he'll like come home with a Post-it note. He'll be like, that's it. But that's the difference of our children, which is great because, as they gain this extensive network of new friendships and other Orthodox of the same age, it's that deeper desire to stay connected to Christ and his church in college and beyond. Because, going into church during any transition of life, every time my child now comes home from college and going to church, it's kind of like, all right, are my friends going to be there? Am I going to see other people? What's happening? I've kind of been disconnected, but yet I'm connected. And so it's a very unique time of life where we expect our kids to kind of bounce back and forth between different locations and what they're thinking and what they're doing and family members. So when they're able to have that confidence, no different than this is just one testimonial that we have, here from Anna Kay. We just have, hundreds of those, which is absolutely fantastic of the individuals who've been able to take advantage of CrossRoad. So over and over again, what we have been hearing is that we have the right program at the right time for the right audience to be able to support Christ and his church and all that we have going on. So yes, Jason, this is you, not to try to steal your thunder.
No, that's thank you, Deb. So beyond CrossRoad, one of the things that is so unique about the program is that we do so much to not just have this be like a 10-day, our participants come and have this experience and then it's over. And it's like, oh, that was a nice part of my life. But, the further and further I get from it, the less impactful, the less important it becomes. What we're trying to do at CrossRoad, and what's very much a part of our ethos for kind of our program and our ministry, is to create a continued community of alumni that can be a resource to each other and continue to help each other grow. So as we see, we have at this point, Dr. Ann had mentioned that we have over 1,100 CrossRoad alums, and that's starting from the year 2004 and all the way up through our most recent summer programs in 2022. That gives us a lot of ability to reach out, to help connect alums, and to continue to offer programming for them in terms of things like our annual alumni retreat, our alumni advisory board, which offers continuing education opportunities in the form of like a alumni book club and other initiatives that make it possible for our alums to continue to connect, meet alums from other sessions, and develop friendships with them while they continue to learn and discern their vocation. This is one of the amazing things I get to be a part of as director, one of the directors of the program. And it's cool to see how CrossRoad not only helps make these connections possible, but helps continue to develop Orthodox leaders. And that's something we see in the program. We have our own alumni advisory board, which is composed entirely of alums who are volunteers and want to give back to our community. So there's this beautiful and inspiring community spirit among our alums of wanting to continue to make this beautiful community flourish and offer opportunities for people to continue to connect and grow together in their faith. So that's just a little glimpse of what we do with, or what the greater vision of CrossRoad is, and why it's continued to grow and become such an amazing and impactful program.
Can I say one quick moment here? So one of the key founding reasons that CrossRoad was started and had originally grant funding to start was around this topic of vocation. And we did some work around the Orthodox theological vision of vocation, which is that you can glorify God in any profession you're in certain, almost any profession you go into in very distinct ways. And most of our saints, or all of our saints, have an array of occupations that they went into. So we really emphasize that. At the same time, 10% of CrossRoad alums are now in full-time ministry if they're out of college, which is a remarkable number. 10% have come to Hellenic College Holy Cross, and 10% are in full-time ministry. And so as the church looks at just the struggles, and, Archbishop Elpida Forrest said to me in September, he said, we need future church leaders, that this is really our best hope for helping young people recognize that they may have a call to full-time ministry in the church, ordained or lay ministry, at the age where it begins to take root in their heart in a really important way.
Very well said, Dr. Ann.
And I'm proud to say my daughter's in the top photo. It's the automatic, like, I want to be with others that are of the Orthodox faith, which is just so exciting when, you don't have to do any twisting, and they're taking it upon themselves, which is just awesome. So beyond that, Alex.
Yes. So, we've talked about this great program, the things that it offers, where it came from. Another big impetus, something that our organization is able to do because of the large body of support, is actually our organization kind of functions as, you can think of it as a laboratory, a ministry laboratory. We're always looking for ways to improve ministry, and we have the ability to really, with our networks, figure out what is going on out there. Our seminarian staff have parish placements. we are well connected with, well, we want to be well connected with you and with the world to see what is going on with our youth. From the inside the Orthodox Church, outside the Orthodox Church, we try to be aware of all these things to see what resources do Orthodox high school students need, high school students and young adults. And again, how can we support you all as parents, as youth workers, as you are interacting with these teenagers? We want to provide you with resources, them with resources, and we ourselves are growing and discerning ways to help parishes more. We're increasing our ability tremendously. Our staff has basically doubled in the last year. So we are here ready to serve, ready to discern our next steps as we grow and figure out what resources we can provide.
Awesome. So what is next? Well, this is where we are so thankful for those of you who are able to join here live on our call, for anyone who is watching the recording. One, we want to serve your youth, and we want to see as many as your parish from possible to take advantage. And we want to know, how can we speak with parents? How can we speak with students? How can we, get an alumni involved to tell about their story? How can we hand address postcards for anyone who just needs that extra little invitation? But in the end also is, hey, how can you also be an extension of our fan club as we're fans of you, so that we can have a poster up. There's an opportunity to talk to 11th and 12th graders about, hey, have you thought about taking advantage of 10 days away from home this summer to be with a group of awesome others that you can talk about faith and all that's ahead. So that's just the relationship that we truly want to continue with you long term. CrossRoad is, God bless, here for many years to come, and our desire to grow and serve as many youth as possible. So, that's where we are. And we are highly available. So we're always just an email or call away. CrossRoadInstitute.org is our website. We have our mailing list through MailChimp that you can sign up for, a YouTube channel, social media. So please participate with us as part of the story in any way that we can. And just thank you so much for joining us today. Anyone else have anything to, as we end up here, of a message to send off with, Anne?
Well, we know that our work is done because youth leaders do amazing work in communities. Parents, priests, youth workers are already doing amazing work. And so you get to hand them to us. And the idea is we hand them back to you. Just a little bit with the seeds, just a little bit better watered. We love to ruminate on the verse. St. Paul says, I planted, Apollos watered, and God gives the growth. And so we think about ourselves as the waterers. Somebody else planted, and our job is to water, knowing that it's all God's work in all of us. But we hope we're producing generations of young people who recognize the beauty in our ancient tradition and go to become the future leaders of our church, and actually of the world too, because our world needs amazing leaders. So we're grateful for your investment and time with us today.